I'm going to try and make a video response to the professor's video about consciousness. Yeah, I'll refrain from making excuses for myself. Let me just cover this belief thing that I agree with what you're saying about the imagination. People, you call them imaginatives. In my experience, and it is real life experience, anything anyone wants to believe will manifest itself as belief in front of your eyes, even to enable you to believe it more. In fact, believing a thing, your belief will manifest, enabling you to verify your belief, though that which is manifesting is only a expression of your belief in that belief, and therefore you will believe it. And it takes I don't know how to express it, some doing to step aside from it and view it objectively, perhaps, to enable one to understand that one is only manifesting one's own beliefs in front of one's eyes. I did an interesting thing once. I had a burglar alarm on a flat that I had, and I used to change the code, 4-digit code every day for reasons for it. I used to imagine it to be a time machine, so one day I put 1248 in or something, or 15, which Middle Ages, I don't know the Middle Ages, I'll say it was 1248. I put 1248 in it and went out imagining it to be 1248, and there were no one around. I went a good mile from my home. I don't know where I was going. Anyway, I went a good mile from my home, and I live in a built-up area. There's plenty of people live here. And I went out and I came back and I saw virtually no one, if I saw anyone at all. And I got back and I thought about it, and it was as though, well, I rationalised it with, well, if it was 1248, then there wouldn't have been anyone here. And so, I mean, I might just, I mean, what can you say? I probably just imagined it and then justified my imagination that I travelled in time to 1248, knowing damn well that I didn't do anything other than travel to the shop or wherever it was I was going in reality. Believe anything you want, it will manifest as belief in front of your eyes. I have tried it, I have tested it. I believe nothing for various reasons. It enables me to deal with the bullshit that's inherently believed, the agendas that are imposed by the insecure generally to justify their insecure fears. So yeah, I agree with the imaginative ones. This consciousness thing, though, I've just left a comment about in my definition manual, which is what I call my dictionary. It refers to awareness, awake, alert, and aware of one's thoughts and one's surroundings, aware, knowing, deliberate, as an adjective. As a noun, the part of the human mind which is responsible for such awareness and is concerned with perceiving and reacting to external objects and events. And as a noun, the state of being conscious, awareness, and in that there is only now. And awareness, anything other than self-awareness, is distractive, in that you will then start believing another's rationale because you are venturing outside of yourself into another's rationale, perhaps, is a way of expressing it. Because I'm reading one of the comments from does this make sense, where he says being unable to think outside of their conditioned bubbles is an impossibility until they have a consciousness expanding experience. I understand what he's saying, though I liken it more so to them having the opposite, not necessarily a consciousness detracting, expanding. What's the opposite of expanding? Contracting experience, returning to self. Self-awareness, consciousness is a self-perceived self-perception. It's awareness. Consciousness is self. And I realise that what you're actually covering in the video and the other video, which I have watched, but I'm going to have to go back and watch it again too. And I think I remember I jumped to various conclusions, which is another thing that I've realised I've been doing recently. One through watching your videos is that I've always known I'd make mistakes, but I take positives from negatives. I can make a mistake and I can turn it into a positive, correct. I can correct myself as a consequence of the mistake, or through the mistake I can reach a correct understanding. Like I made a video on one of my other channels with spurious historical data on it about kings and queens of England and the like. And then when I went and researched the points that I'd given in the video, I discovered what I was looking for. I was actually researching coats of arms and emblems and symbols. I deal with symbols in my used to call it artwork in my investigations of why we are where we are and the like. I found my mistaken reference points allowed me to discover what I was looking for. Now, that's not to say that I needed to make the mistakes to discover what I wanted to discover. I probably could have approached it differently and found out what I needed to. In fact, I could have done, I just could have put the word unicorn into the search engine and that would have led me. Possibly. In fact, I need to still do that. I've drifted now, haven't I? So, I understand that your covering of consciousness is, like I mentioned in the comment, it's a bit complex for although that's an interesting word, complex, isn't it? Someone who's got a complex is generally perceived as a negative experience in my understanding of the word, though the complexity of what you're covering is sort of very well. I don't understand the majority of the words that you're using, and I have no interest in looking them up either. I do perhaps understand how and why you use them. I'm more moving in the other direction, means sort of simplifying my lexicon and my understandings of things, not in any sort of competition or to be better than or to prove anything. It just well, someone has to do it, don't they, in one context. You know, you move that way, I'll move that way, and then I mean, we're obviously rational, responsible, reasonable humans, and we can swap notes someday, which is what we're already doing. Though consciousness itself, as I mentioned in the comment, Is there, if there is only now, which there is only now, then consciousness perceptibly is a recording, and it is not only a recording of one's own conscious experience of self in each moment, it is a combined thing, which is where the unified field comes from. That the unified field is the combined mind, combined consciousness of all, and it is accessible in the where we tune into. You might call it knowledge. It's beyond knowledge. And then there is also the subconscious and the unconscious mind, and an interesting thing is it is stated we only use a small part of our brain. Maybe that's only a conscious part that they can see working with the scientific experiments that deduce that. And the information I've been given is that 90% of the mind itself is 70% is the unconscious, 20% is the subconscious, and 10%, these are rough figures, is the conscious. And so the fact that they see we only use a small part of our brain could be because there's only a small part of our brain that decodes conscious, that is conscious, and the rest of it's subconscious and unconscious. I'm concerned now whether I'm overdoing my time on my video, 11 minutes. Well, that's better than the last one I made. Self-confidence issues with me. Yeah, I said I wouldn't make excuses for myself. Thank you, I really appreciate your work. You're good for me. I enjoy your I'll stop metaphoring them as letters and calling myself Anthony from 2C and 3D and the like. It's a nice metaphoric thing, though I'm finding metaphors are perhaps too distance from reality, and reality is a thing that I'm more interested in, real life, real things, real people, rather than the bogus, fake bullshit that is. Well, don't be critical, Anthony, if criticism doesn't assist. And yeah, I like the way things are moving me. And whilst I'm working with a group of people that are sharing the stopping of the mind and participation with and as the mind, and I am joining in with that, I still lounge in my mind more than it's good for me. I actually believe now, although believing it, Anthony, you will manifest it. Yeah, thank you. Most enjoyable. I appreciate it is the correct term, isn't it? Yes, thank you.